The stitch pattern on the Stella Pullover is a really fun stitch pattern that alternates between single crochet rows and then linked double crochet rows worked on the front loop. So all of the linked double crochet rows are the wrong side and the single crochet rows are on the right side, and you get these lovely ridges from working the double crochets on the front loop when you're on the wrong side. And then every third single crochet row, once you start with the Stella stitches, are going to have Stella stitches. So today I'm going to show you how to work these Stellas, how to read your pattern so that you know where each Stella should go, and how to work the following row after a Stella row. So the first thing we need to note is the stitches in between each Stella. So the stitch repeat is 10 stitches wide. You have your Stella, and then in the middle you have 9 stitches. So you'll always have 9 stitches in between Stellas. In the next row, those Stellas are going to be in the 5th stitch at the same height as the 5th stitch in between the previous Stella rows. That means that when you are a bit lost, you always have to find the 5th stitch here and then follow that way up to your next Stella row. Let me turn it around because this is actually worked top down, so you'll be able to tell a bit better. So these are the 9 stitches, and we're going to go directly here on the 5th stitch, and that's where the next Stella is going to be worked. As you can see in the pattern, I have added a contrasting color yarn for the 3rd Stella row, every 3rd Stella row. You can do that if you want to in your pattern, if you want to do all of the Stellas with a different color, or if you want to work some of the single crochet rows in a different color, you can do that too. It's completely up to you. So I'm working with this little swatch because I use a thicker yarn, and hopefully you'll be able to see your stitch pattern more clearly. So this is the right side, and I know the right side because the single crochet rows give me that little ridge, and this is a linked double crochet row, and on the back you also kind of have a linked a little ridge from those linked stitches, but it's a little bit less neat than the right side. I really like those lines that show, but if you ever wanted to wear it on the wrong side, feel free to do so. All right, so I am at a Stella row. I have worked my Stella row in that single crochet row, and then I work 1, 2, 3, and on the 3rd one, that's where I work my next Stella row. So I'm gonna get started, and I'm going to work until I have a Stella. Okay, so I've done a single crochet until I am ready for my Stella stitch. Now, Stellas are basically puff stitches that are anchored in 3 different spots. So we have, let me show you this one. So you have the first anchoring here, then here, and then here. Now, the first anchoring spot is going to be, 2 stitches previous to the next stitch. So this is the next stitch. I go down 1 row and then I go 1, 2 over. So this little gap right there is where my first anchoring place is. The next one is going to be at the same level as the next stitch, but 2 rows below above a double crochet. So this is my next stitch. I go whoop right there. This little gap above that double crochet, that is my next anchoring stitch. And then the next one is going to be 2 stitches over to the left, but on a single crochet. So I go 1, so this is the same level as my next stitch. So I go 1 and 2, and this one right here, that is where my 3rd anchoring stitch is. So I'm going to show you how that works. So I yarn over, and then I find my first anchoring stitch. So this is my main stitch, my next stitch. I go down 1, 2 over, and here is my spot. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So you see how I kind of pull the yarn upwards. Then I yarn over again, and I find my next anchoring stitch. So the second one is at the same level as the next stitch, but above a double crochet. So I work my way down, and this one right here, that's my second anchoring stitch. 1 and 2. And then finally, I'm going to do my third anchoring stitch. This one's a bit harder because you can no longer see the main stitch. So you're going to go forward from this place, your last anchoring stitch, anchoring place, and you're going to go 2 over, 1, 2. And now you're going to find that single crochet row there and pull. Now this seems complicated the first time you do it, but the more you do it, you'll get really used to. And then now that you have all these loops on your hook, you're gonna pull your yarn through all of those loops and then make one chain, and I'm gonna pull that one. So I hold on to my yarn and I really pull to tighten that chain. Now I'm gonna work on the next stitch, a single crochet. So this is my Stella stitch. I finished it. That chain does not count as a stitch, and there you go. Now my next stitch is a bit hidden, but the way you find it is by finding the last anchoring stitch. If you go above it, this is 2 stitches in front of your next of the stitch where the Stella goes. So then the one before it is 1 stitch after, which is where you want to go, and it kind of hides there. I'm in, and I single crochet there. And now we know that the 5th stitch is the dividing the middle point between my Stellas, right? So I'm going to work 4 stitches, which means that this previous Stella should fall right on this stitch. So I'm gonna make my way down. So here's my other single crochet, there's my other single crochet, and there is my Stella stitch. So I am in track. I'm on the right track for my Stella. So I like to do this from time to time, just in case I didn't count correctly my stitches in between my Stellas, or if I'm a little bit lost, I like to make sure I am right in the middle with the other one. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th stitch, that's the one I follow down all the way to my Stella. Okay, and then I'm going to keep working. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I'm going to do my next Stella there. So we're going to find our anchoring points again. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to start. So I go down to that level and then 2 over to the right. Here you go. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and now 1 below on the double crochet. Pull through, yarn over, pull through, and then I go 2 over to the left on the single crochet. Yarn over, and I pull through everything. Chain 1, pull my yarn through. I mean tighten, pull to tighten. And again, I find that stitch that is kind of hiding a little bit. So my next stitch after my Stella row is this guy. And there you go. That is my Stella row. And now I'm going to turn and I'm going to work my next row, which is a wrong side row with a linked double crochet. So every linked double crochet row always starts in both loops of my stitch. First stitch is a linked double crochet, and then after that we go linked double crochet on the front loop only. So I only pick up the front loop and do my double crochet there. So I'm gonna do that again until I get to my Stella to show you how to work on that one. All right, I am at my Stella row. Now, there's something going on with these stitches. Usually I get like one loop that is looser, and it's this one right here. And you can see if I pull on it, it kind of tightens it at the front and it makes it look a bit better. So in order to keep that tight throughout, what I like to do is catch it on my stitch that works above my Stella stitch. So I'm going to be skipping that chain. I can't be working in that chain, don't forget that, okay? Because that's the one that just holding the Stella together. So I'm going to work my next link double crochet, insert my hook into my horizontal bar, yarn over, pull through, and now I'm going to work into the next stitch, but I'm going to do it a bit differently than usual. So I'm going to pull my yarn, put my hook through these loose loops. If you have more than one loose loop, make sure to grab them. And then I'm going to go behind these both loops at the back or at the front of my work. Okay, I'm still leaving the front of the stitch, that back loop, empty. Okay, I am not picking that up. Let me show you. So those are my two loops, and I am still leaving that back loop unworked. I only pick up the front loop and also the one that's behind that front loop. Yarn over, and I pull through all my loops, and then I finish my double crochet. So it will look kind of like this on the back, and on the front I still have that little loop to create that ridge above my Stella stitch, so that doesn't go away. I'm going to show you again. I'm just going to continue my row until I get to my next Stella, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, I have reached my next Stella row. So again, going to pick up that horizontal loop from the previous row, and now I'm going to find any loose strands here. This one always is loose for me, and I don't know why, but that's okay. I put my yarn behind that one and behind those two loops at the back of my stitch, leaving that back loop unworked, and pull through all of my stitch loops on the Stella. Yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, and you see how they kind of twist. And then I continue, always working on the front loop when I am working on the wrong side, except on my last stitch of the row where I am going to work that link double crochet on both loops to keep it from getting a bit holes. And there you go. So this is my right side. You have your Stellas right in the middle of the other Stellas, and you have that ridge that continues across all of that row, including the Stella row. And there you go.